Well, I decided to make a quick, not really quick, but I decided to make a video for my children about who their mother is. I it's all of like quarter to, quarter to 8 in the morning, and I haven't slept all night. But I wanted to leave this tidbit of information for my children so that they can understand what their mother has been through, who I am, and where we are. So I'm gonna start from the top. These are my eras. My name is Jocelyn Grace Yearns, married in the Gilchrist. I was born at 4:49 in the morning in Brooklyn, New York, on Tuesday, June 21st, 1983. To 1983 to 2024, I am 40 years old. Let's begin. All praise is due to the Most High, of course. I started here, and this is the first 5 years of my life right here. I was already 4 and 5 years old going to parochial school. I went to Lutheran school where we talked about God all day, and then we went to church right next door in our Lutheran church. And like I said, I've been up all night with this, so I want to try to break it down for you as simple as I can. There's a lot of years, a lot of dates and stuff. So 1988 is when my father passed. So a lot of the highlighted areas on here are when I was attacked in some type of way, spiritual, mostly spiritual, but it bled into physical. But this is when my father passed, and what made this so significant is that I was the one of the 5 children that were not allowed at my father's funeral. So, with that being said, I mean, even the kid that was born after me, like even after he was cheating on his wife or whatever the story was, that child was able to go to the funeral, but I wasn't. So that was the start of a lot of stuff. And I say that because also when I get into this 1988 to 1991 era, that was like me prepping. Like my spiritual leaders, counselors, there was a lot of people in this time that stepped in to love on me and help me to develop who I needed to be to get here. So from 1988, 5 years old, 88 to 91, right before I turned 8 years old, I was in Georgia. This is the list of a mini list of all the houses that we've been in since we moved down here. So from 1991, that was 3059. 2001, that's when we moved to Tawn's house. 2005 is when we moved to Hopkins Road. 2007 is when we moved into Cumberland Creek, and 2020 is when we moved into Douglasville. So 91 to 99, it was apparent that moving down here with my mom's boyfriend at the time that did not marry her, my grandmother and my father's dime, deceased dime at that, these years are what forged the struggle. Okay, this probably would have been like 16 in 99. So from this 8-year period from moving down here when I was 8. Now, these dates right here, like 1983 to 1991, that's that little break after my father passed before we moved down here. And 1983 to 1991 is the total time of me being in New York. 1991 to 2024 is how long we've been in Georgia. And 1991 to 1999 are the most hellacious years of my childhood. That those 8 years were hellacious, absolutely hellacious. Mom married a crackhead, and like I said up here, like when I was denied to his funeral, it's like my mom cut me off too. And this is the, after looking at all this is the best thing that I can come up with is why all these yellows are on this board right now. But it's like Cinderella, right? Dad died, and the wicked stepmother take over, and her daughters get all the glory and stuff while she scapegoated and gaslit out and everything. So that's all. This was narcissistic grooming right here. Okay, and whoever she got in contact with, she made sure to let them know I wasn't shit. My sister moved down here from college and everything, picked right back, mom chose favorite, so she gonna do what mom do, you know what I'm saying? So that was all this. And 99 to 2000, that was the 1 year I've been without my mom. That was the 1 year I went to Job Corps. That was the like my brother passed in 1999, right after I left, a day after my mother's birthday. So October 5th, 1999, my brother passed, and I had a lot of guilt because my grandmother passed in 94, and I had a lot of unnecessary guilt. But my mom said she was having back surgery. My sister wasn't helping, and my brother died. So I tried to hurry up and come back, only for her to do some real manipulative things here. Now I broke up with my little boyfriend I had in Job Corps in 2000, but I came back in Georgia in 2000, and in 2001, 2002, going to Torrance house from the last bits of 3059 to going to Torrance house. I was dating CJ, and CJ's whole thing, like, I was only dating him to piss my mama off, right? Like, I was only with him so that I would have some kind of force field, knowing that I was coming back into this after this little stint, after this little break. So when I got back and I broke up with a dude that I was in Alabama with, in Job Corps with, Armand, like, I came back, and then, like I said, we had moved from 3059 to Torrance house, and they had already made it very well and plain that I was not welcome. You know what I'm saying? And because CJ looked like a scrub, they associated a lot of those characters to me, and that further depleted, my now found standing. This is the period I knew this is what it was. You know what I'm saying? This was real. This could have been real right here. This was real right here. This is when it was over. This was like more so my grandmother and me, because my mother was working and doing all kind of stuff. But this, and then followed by this really showed me that this is really who these people are. Like, they had no love for me at all. Like, this was like, everything that they did with me was just for show. Okay, so as you can see, this is just up to this year. Obviously, we're still going, but these are my children's birthdays. Okay. And in these years, from the birth of my son to the birth of my twins, moving the Hopkins right here, to then moving to Cumberland Creek, this whole area right here, like I said, once upon a time I had a child, and then me and the child's father didn't get along. I wound up having twins, and this was an arranged set up marriage, because by here they were tired of CJ. So Larry was here when I first got back, and stayed until it was time to move. Now he cool with Torn. I got 3 kids by this time. We moved to Cumberland Creek, and shouldn't you know it, CJ was upset and jealous at Larry, so he took it out on my kid. Now, y'all can still have affinity. John Zion can still have affinity with his father, only because his father was not convicted. Now, that would be a different story if CJ Gary Lee Ned Jr. went to jail in this era over child abuse and leaving my son like that. But because I did not know the law, And because I had my mother and my sister in the mix about what was going on with my kid, they put me out the home. They put me on child support because I had weed in my system. On the third time I went to court, I had weed in my system because they had already put my son in foster care after all this of me trying to save my son, be there with my son, everything I was trying to do that they asked me to do, they still put my son in foster care. And I had to leave the house, and I was out here in the street with CJ. Now, this is when I met Jade, but my mother was using these situations, this whole circumstance against me. So, with that being said, she got the ammo she needed to go work for the state. She got the ammo that she needed to go counsel other kids, other people. Okay? And I'm out on the street and living in hotels. Now, this is also when I met Brandon. Now, I'm already coming out of this situation with my son to come over here off the hotels and meet Brandon. What does Brandon do? Brandon molests my daughter while my son is in foster care. So that's how that happened. And then he gonna resurface up over here. So this is how this jumped off. And then on top of that, he cheated on me after I went to his house in Douglasville. Then I went to his apartment off of Six Flags, and then come to find out he was cheating on me with Shadanya. So it's her stupid ass, you know what I'm saying, when she found out about what was going on, you know what I'm saying, that was a whole nother flop. But that's the timeline of this happening within a year, that both of my twins got fucked up. Okay? So 2009 to 2011, into 2009 when I left Brandon, without knowing what he had done to my daughter, right? I had went and started working at Waffle House, okay, in like October, November, December. And that's when I met DeAndre. So all this time, this is me and Dre. And of course, there's jealousy because I told him to come in my house and not talk to nobody for like months. I told him, don't come in my house, go upstairs, go to the room on the left. Do not talk to anybody in my house. So much so that we got married and had a baby in 2011. Our marriage lasted 10 years. Now, from this hellacious time to this hellacious time, I'm talking about we had 2 kids together in that house, could not leave. And I'm talking about infidelities. I'm talking about cheating and all kind of shit because he realizes that the hold that my mom and my sister have on me ain't letting us leave, ain't letting us prosper, ain't letting us move forward. So he might as well do what he want to do. And looking at it like this, I can see what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like the pressure and everything, you coming in thinking that I'm one way and things are gonna be something like that or whatever and whatever, and it wasn't. So all this was just stretched out, like we stuck, can't get out of Nana house. She manipulative. Now he's doing the same shit she doing because of the influence of her and Torn. So now he looking at me the same way they look at me, right? So with all this, baby born in 2015, 2016, he was gone. This star and this star are the abortions I had because men were taking off condoms and I got set up and did not want to bring another baby in the world with all this history. I was not trying. So these are the other 2 children that I would have had, but I was not gonna bring no other 2 children after these dudes sabotage the condom, and I got set up. So that's 2017, and this is also when Brandon came back in 2017. So we talking about what, 6 years later? This is when the stories about what happened with Jill got a little bit deeper and everything. When he stole my mama car. and I am out working on my own for the duration. Now, 2018 to 2019, Dre come back. Dre come back, and this time he wanna get high, get crazy, mess with my daughter inappropriately, whatever the situation was that I'm still, trying to have some understanding about. But that's this, and I'm just like getting a lot of shit from my mama. Like, I can't work. He come back. That happened like November. She got for sale signs in the lawn, having crooked pastors come and scam and scheme us and stuff. This is also the time that Terry left on. Side note, I had, what was it, Jade here? Because this is when I met Keenan, and this is when I met Jade. So this is when Jade and her people were in the house, and that would be Joe, the setup. So, also, and then when all this happened with Jack, this is also in 2008. That's when Torn put out the mass email to the family that I was the crackhead. So, what my mom went through with her ex husband, this is like 96 or whatever, 97. She got married to that crackhead. They gave me his story and sent it in a mass email to the family. That's why nobody fucked with me, because I was trying to get people to get Jack and help him before he got to foster care, where I know he was molested and my daughter was molested. Then I was taken advantage of. Then we go into when Dre come back, and then all this happened with my daughter. My mother trying to sell the house, the crooked pastor, and all this. And then we go into 19, where in 2019 when we came in, we had a car. Me and Jill had a car accident, so we coming in 19 with no car. Everybody's morale is low and everything. I think we took a trip, and then I think we were waiting to do something, but then my birthday came, and me and Dre fell out bad. Like, cops were called. He want to say that this is when I was trying to have him killed in the house and everything. Meanwhile, Kim was trying to get in the room, because Kim probably been with us since 2017, 2018. That's where Kim came in and started staying with us. So it probably was longer than that, but I can't really remember. But in 2019, she been in the house for a while. 2019, before July, that's when we broke up. Or July, that first weekend in July is when we broke up. And he was gone and everything and all that. So then we get into the crux of 2019. So in the crux of 2019 is, of course, when Liam went to the hospital. And okay, so from July going into August, like the first day of school, I went to the hospital, Liam went to the hospital, Nana got a car, Nana was in the hospital, and that's when the stroke happened. It's also during the stroke when Quentin touched Liam. And it's also when she had gotten out the nursing home, and she had that she had fallen on her eye. So we were going through all that and trying to get her straight in rehab, because she was already not being cared for at the rehab she was at. Now, we have some dates right here. We got 2019 to 2024. That's as long as Nana's been sick or recovering from her stroke. This is also how long it's been since I've seen my sister and my nephew. 2019 to 2020, that was a transition from Nana being sick to the house getting took, from us being at the hotel, and finally for us winding up in Douglasville and Torn stealing the money and all this weird stuff in between, and all that transition. That's all that happened here. Okay, now this right here, this is Aubrey from 2019 to 2022, and then from 2022 to 2024. That's me and Aubrey's relationship. Absolutely fucking horrible. Okay, from him leaving to him showing up, he was just carrying the same energy that Dre left out on. I'm being pimped out by your mother's energies or your sister and your mother's energies, and he came right in back behind it. And his whole test was that I could leave and not be codependent and not be trauma bonded to that energy. But it still took me 4 or 5 years to do it. So I ain't even mad at that, but it's still a learning process. But that did happen. So in 2019 to 2024, like I said, that was when mom got sick and all that with my sister and my nephew. In 2019 to 2020, like I said, that was the hotel transition to get here to Douglasville. And from 2020 to 2024 is how long we've been in Douglasville. 2022 obviously being me surviving breast cancer. And when Aubrey was gone and I had to dismiss Janelle and Jill had left and it was just me and John and the boys and Nana in the house. So there was a lot that's happened here. And also, I believe it was 2021, my grandson was born in here. Baby Lino. So with all that being said, I want to make sure I got everything. But that's this side. That's everything that we've been through to 2024. And now that it's 2024 and I'm not with Aubrey anymore, that happened Christmas of 2023. But for posterity, we'll say 2024, whatever. But really, it's technically 2023 that we broke up. So now it's 2024, and now I'm here. And this is everything that I've been through. The one thing I will say that it's hard to tell my kids not to... It's hard to tell my kids who not to mess with, who not to talk to. Because Jill and Jack's father denied them. CJ never gave a dime up for John. And now they're both in, all three of them. Well, Jill and John are. Jack is not. But Jill and John are in connection with their fathers. Now I told you that this is what your father came in on, was that arranged marriage, because they couldn't stand CJ anyway. Okay, but as far as CJ goes, and what I would do with him, there's a lot of reasons why I don't talk to him. I don't associate with him, especially when back around here, the girlfriend that he with calling my mom and DeAndre talking about something. He trying to sacrifice people, and then I got another call from one of his relatives talking about something. Do you like a nephew or something that's like, do you know about him and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, leave his ass alone if you can avoid it, because he the type that the girl already telling me that he trying to sacrifice her and all this weird shit that he doing, and I already have. So all that weird attachment and stuff, I will say, use your discernment. Because if that was the severity and without no consequence with Javaris, ain't no telling, you know what I'm saying, what the hell. Because I've never, after this, he ain't never seen my children again until they seen him. After this, that man ain't never seen my children. And this one, Jill and Jack's dad just came, what, in 2023? Or 2022? Or 2022, I want to say. So... you know, I really don't have nothing for these fathers. This is like I said, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be Brandon, and 6 would be Aubrey. I've been with 6 men in all this. So this side, you know, this is your life, and I say, look at the Most High. From all these highlighted yellows are like I said, attacks, whether it be spiritual, physical, environmental attacks, family attacks, whatever. These are just attacks. So you can see here, all of this, definitely all of this, this, these, okay, this, complete trauma, okay. So it's a lot that I've endured, and like I said, this is a calmer version of me telling you this, but I've endured a lot to be the way I am, to be why I am, to be in the mode and the zones that I be in. This is why, and this is the easiest, best way that I could just show you my life. This is why I pray. This is why I thank God every day. This is why God bless the family. Because ain't no way I would have came out of all this without crack or heroin or some crazy shit. And 18 fucking kids busting down like nobody loved me or whatever the hell. Like, nah, God had his hand on my life the whole time. Okay? God had his hand on all of our lives, because if out of all of this, and this is why I said this for my children, if I had to go through all of this to get here, this is what I did it for. This is all I did it for right here. That's it. That's all I did it for right here. So that y'all five can have whatever y'all need to build and lead a prosperous life. This is me breaking generational curse. I'm not going to allow my pain to influence who I am. And I'm going to keep being who I am no matter who tells me. Like I said, narcissism, the word itself didn't come out till right here. This is when I learned from this and this. This is when I learned the word narcissism. Right here. And I challenged everybody about it. Because I want to know, do you know this word? Because when I was in college, I'd never heard this word in psychology. Never heard this word one time in psychiatry. So, that's why I say I wanted to sit here and share this with you. This could be my grandchildren that read this or see this, but this is a lot, and then of course with Nana, this was a whole trauma bond. My father dying brought out a whole squabble of demons, man, and how my mom handled, like I said, my grandmother passing, a lot of aunts and uncles in the family passing, her marrying that crackhead, and everything that he was doing, stealing from her and all that stuff got drained on me. And then what's crazy is that when I left in 99, the stuff that he did, more stuff that I was too young to know about, it only came out and festered in this time. So she was still holding on to that resentment while I was gone. And then, like I said, when I came back, she wanted all my money that I made out there. She didn't want me working. She didn't call the police because I was trying to work. All kind of stuff. I've been through so much hell just trying to be at peace with her so I could have my children. And even as soon as them kids came, they sure enough tried to take them from me. And the family wouldn't help me. And then the email come out about, oh, well, she's this, she that. Meanwhile, really describing this dude, Jeff Blake, her ex-husband. But like, there was so much stuff. Like, I had to go to court, I had to do drug tests, I had to go through a rehab program for drug addicts, and I wasn't even a drug addict. I smoked weed one time because y'all took my son, put him in foster care, molested him, didn't know how to do his hair, kept cutting his hair and shit, separated him from his twin. Now John and Jill are doing ape shit, stupid and shit. Nana don't care because they're my kids, and she's not attached to how they come out. She just worried about putting that negative stuff in them so that they can look at me some kind of crazy as their mother and defy me from doing the right thing. Okay. So, like I said, this is the errors. There ain't no time that I can see on here and not go deep. Like we could expound on each and every one of these, and I can tell y'all exactly with paperwork and receipts and all that stuff what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? Throughout all of this. So this side actually is my natal chart. So this is my natal chart when I was born. Sun in Gemini, Moon in Scorpio, my Mercury in Gemini. I got a lot of Gemini placements in my natal chart. And then going down here, these are the houses. And like I said, I don't think these are trine, but and all these. So I gave you an astrological perspective, and I gave you a yearly perspective of all of the things that make me me. This is what I did for myself. This is what I did for my children. my grandchildren. So if y'all want to see a legacy, now what happens? What happens now? What happens here? And this should be about where our story begins. So I hope you learned something. I hope you now can see a clear and have a better understanding, a clear understanding of who I am and what I'm about and why I am the way I am. But and like I said, this is just a roundabout. But like I said, when I moved down here and had to go through white people classes, and I was too white for the black kids and too black for the white kids and stuff, like I've been in isolation, like black sheep, like outcast all my life. And even the people that I try to bring in that are strangers will still find their way to try to turn on me under that influence. So I hope you learned something. A little 30-minute briefing, but it was worth it. God bless the family.